The boomers like to remind us of their 14% interest rates in the 1980s compared to our 7.5 today, and we should stop whining. But the average home was $47,000 in 1980, where today it is $436,000 for the average home. Let's compare that to salary. The average salary in 1980 was $12,000. It is only $56,000 today. So how
Yo, listen. Can you imagine having a house that's $47,000 and then an income of 12,000? So getting paid like five times is already your whole house paid off. My God. And imagine the couples. Oh my God. You got 24K for a 50K house. Oh my God. That's depressing. That's depressing. And then they lie to us saying it's the inflation rate. But what I don't understand is how these people do not see the privilege. I don't understand. How can somebody get a house of 50K and then see your house be like 500,000K and they don't see the privilege? I don't know.
housing went up times 10, but incomes only went up times 4.5. And then if you look at it compared to the average home, it is 4 times the salary for the average home, where today it's 8 times. This person can't even be qualified for this. But if the 1980s person didn't want to deal with the 14%, they had an option called renting. They could actually rent an apartment for $243, which was only 24% of their income. Today, the average rent is $2,000, which is 42% of the average American.
I imagine this, like you get $2,000 and your rent is like 500. Oh my God, that's a dream. That's a dream come true. And I wonder how they feel about their own economic situation. Because there's no way boomers are not seeing this. There's no way. I mean, okay, I have to take this back because boomers are becoming homeless themselves now. But it's been years of them telling us to pull yourself up by the bootstrap, you're lazy, the new generation doesn't want to work, and now they're seeing reality because they have to. But they have been showing us the middle finger all along. This is why I say you have to give it to millennials. Millennials at least show compassion for Gen Z because they can relate though.
Income. So if the average American can't afford the average house, they are almost being forced to rent. And if they're forced to rent, they're forced to spend 40% of their income on housing. That is what's putting pressure on Americans today. The boomers like to remind us of their
Are we really struggling in this economy, or is everything a facade? I just can't help but wonder to notice that everywhere I go, packed to the brim. Restaurants are packed. Cafes with $12 lattes, huge lines. Erewhon with 20.
I mean, but those are not luxuries. Like this is boomer logic because boomer are basically saying, why are you not buying a $500,000 house if but you're drinking coffee though? Like that's not the same. Like eating at a restaurant should not be a luxury. Imagine people in the poorest countries are eating at restaurants too. In the poorest countries, poorest of places. That's not a luxury. Going to Walmart is not a luxury. Controversial, right?
Something dollar smoothies, huge lines, grocery stores packed. The other day I called a bunch of nail salons just to get a basic ass pedicure. All packed, all busy. They had no availability to squeeze in a 30-minute basic pedicure. And I'm thinking, I thought we were near a recession. I thought the economy is bad. I thought people were struggling with groceries and bills. Yet everywhere I go,
Yeah, but she's right in a certain sense that like a bad economy does not fix financial irresponsibility. Like those are not mutual. People just use credit cards for everything, like the guy in the comment said on the right. And it's just the way we're living. Maybe the market will literally crash in terms of credit card debt. Like I think this is not sustainable. People are just deep in debt, and I was there too. I was there too. I'm still working on it though, but I will get out of it. I'm making a lot of progress.
restaurants, bars, cafes packed to the brim, malls packed. Target, go to Walmart, everyone's cart is packed. Everybody's cart is packed. Trader Joe's, Costco, everybody is packed. Everybody is buying things, a multitude of things. And everything is more expensive due to the inflation. But where are people getting this money from then? I thought we were struggling.
I mean, people are getting themselves into a cycle where they are working to pay off the credit card debt that they collected in a month. That's what they're doing. They are not richer, they're just increasingly in debt.
This exact size of fufu is what we used to get for 100 naira as at last year. But surprisingly, this size of fufu is sold for 250 naira. The present economy is not funny. It's not smiling on anybody. I wonder how.
Yeah, so it went from 100 to 100 to 250, she said. It's more than double the price. So as you can see, this is an international problem. But I wonder what this country blames it on, because they're always finding new excuses to make us pay more. Like it used to be Corona, it used to be the war in Ukraine, it used to be the energy crisis. Now it's the recession. Like every year they're going to find a new way to tax us.
The economy is so bad right now, even Joe Biden's job got outsourced to an Indian. The economy.
Yo, who is this cornball? Oh my god, everything about this is corny. The joke was corny, the guy looks corny. Like, who is this? Even Joe Biden is feeling the effects of the bad economy. Conservative. Of course, he's a black conservative. The corniest people on the planet. Can cancel Rob Smith. Of course, they're always saying they cannot be cancelled until they get demonetized. Such a cornball. Oh my, that pisses me off.
I don't know if y'all be reading and paying attention to the news, but the economy is in a terrible spot right now. I mean, you got major retail stores that are closing up hundreds of locations just this year. You got Walgreens closing over 150 stores. You got Macy's closing over 100 stores. Foot Locker closing over 400 stores. CVS Pharmacy is closing 900 stores.
I would argue that those things are not mutual. I would argue that even if in a good economy, if a company wants to impress the investors, they will fire you. It's just what it is. In a good economy, if a company does something stupid and the stock crashes, they're still firing you. I would say that that's not mutual to the economy.
Family Dollar closing 600 stores. Rue 21 closing 540 stores. I mean, the list goes on and on, from Best Buy, Dollar Tree, Express, even Walmart is closing down 7 of its supercenters. On top of that, you have the major layoffs, like Google done already laid off almost 12,000 people. eBay just laid off 1,000 people. Microsoft just laid off 1,900 people. UPS.
Yeah, most of these tech companies are having this wet dream of replacing everybody with AI. This is what they're dreaming of. So just in case they might replace everybody, they're just firing people in advance. But I don't think this guy understands economics a lot. Like, I'll just skip to the next video.
In today's economy, do you think a couple that brings home $100,000 is enough to support a small family of like 3 to 4 people? I asked this because.
Yo, listen, she's going to kill it. I know this is going to be a good one, because the same salary nowadays, like, do you remember, millennials? Do you remember that back in 2008, 2007, the way you thought about millionaires was like they were driving Lambos, Supras, all these cool cars. They had a mansion. This is what a millionaire was to us. When you talk about a million nowadays, it's just a house in a city. I'm not even talking about a mansion. It's just a house in a city.
As I made a post yesterday about how Americans are really struggling, and it was really sad and eye-opening to me to see the amount of people who said, I make 6 figures now, yet we're still struggling. And I don't mean is it enough to buy like luxuries. I just mean, is $100,000 enough to live comfortably without having to live paycheck to paycheck? I remember like 12 years ago, my mom told me about this couple I knew who were making like a combined salary of 110,000. And at that point in my life, 20s, I'm thinking, what a dream, what a goal it was.
Yeah, I mean, just saying the word six-figure salary was like, that was like a dream. You make six figures, that's insane. Like from 100K on, people thought you were just rich. And I remember at one time just putting out a $100 bill. Like it was at the cashier, she was just impressed. Like, whoa, $100, that's a lot of money. And now it's just another day. It's just another day.
For me to be able to say one day that my husband and I were making like 110,000, and now here I am in 2023, and I'm like, it's not the dream life anymore. Like if someone would have told me my husband and I would be making what we're making and still having to cut back on necessities, I would have been like, you have to be kidding me. Like we didn't even go on a vacation this year because the last thing I'm going to do is put a vacation on a credit card, but we didn't have extra money to bring our kids on a vacation.
Yeah, listen, those vacations are so expensive. Like I used to get vacations twice a year before Corona, and I was paying $600 back and forth, so 300. And I used to travel two times a year, and the prices are so expensive now that I could only travel once a year. And then this year I just didn't pay. I wouldn't. I'm not taking vacations this year. I'm probably not taking vacation next year. Who knows?
And we both have good jobs. So if you think $100,000 is enough, I'm curious, what's your location? Do you not have children? Like why do you think it's enough? Because I'm telling you from yesterday's post on here, the comments say different, and the comments say that a majority of Americans are really, really struggling. And I mean,
I mean, but the location at this point doesn't even matter that much because, like, these companies want you to go back to the office. That means you have to live around the office. So the rent around the offices are high. And if you move to a smaller city, unless you're doing home office, you're screwed because you're getting paid less too. This is unsustainable. I'm actually very curious about how this is going to develop in the future. I'm very curious about this. But man, we have to go back to 2019. Like the economy was so good back in the day. We didn't appreciate it. We didn't appreciate how good the economy was back in the day.